What if the best way to experience Kyoto is to stop trying to see all of Kyoto? Not the checklist version, not the 12 temples before lunch version, but the Kyoto where mornings begin with the sound of bicycle tires on wet stone streets, where the same tea shop owner remembers your order by day 3, and where getting lost might actually be the plan. Most travelers spend 3 days rushing through Kyoto. Today, we're doing the opposite. 7 days. One neighborhood at a time. No sprinting between tourist spots. No exhausting itinerary. Just temples, tea, tiny alleyways, local routines, and the version of Kyoto most visitors never slow down enough to notice. Day 1 begins before sunrise. The streets of Higashiyama are almost empty. No crowds. No selfie sticks. Just cool air drifting through wooden machiya houses and the distant ringing of temple bells. You grab a hot canned coffee from a vending machine because this is Japan, and somehow even vending machine coffee feels cinematic. The first stop isn't famous because it's flashy. It's famous because it feels timeless. Kiyomizu-dera Temple. At sunrise, the massive wooden stage overlooks a sleepy Kyoto wrapped in morning mist. The city hasn't fully woken up yet, and for a moment, it feels like you have all of Kyoto to yourself. But here's the secret. Slow travel isn't about checking places off a list. It's about staying long enough to notice things. The smell of incense lingering in the air. School children laughing on their morning walk. The sound wooden sandals make against stone paths. After the temple, breakfast is simple. Fresh tamagoyaki, miso soup, rice, green tea, no rush. And honestly, that's harder than it sounds. Most of us are trained to maximize every second while traveling. But Kyoto quietly teaches the opposite lesson. Less movement, more awareness. By afternoon, you wander through Sanenzaka and Ninenzaka narrow historic streets lined with tiny shops selling handmade ceramics, paper lanterns, and sweets that look too pretty to eat. You duck into a tea house mostly because your feet hurt. But then something happens. The owner carefully prepares matcha in complete silence. Every movement is deliberate, slow, precise. And suddenly, you slow down too. Not because someone told you to, because the space itself changes your pace. That's Kyoto. Day 2 starts with rain. And somehow, Kyoto gets even prettier. Umbrellas move like floating flowers through Nishiki Market. Steam rises from food stalls. Soy sauce and grilled seafood fill the air. You try Yuba delicate tofu skin that Kyoto is famous for and immediately wonder why this isn't global fast food. Then comes one of Kyoto's greatest hidden pleasures, doing absolutely nothing important. You spend an hour beside the Kamo River watching locals jog, read books, walk dogs, and sit quietly without staring at their phones every 5 seconds. No major attraction. No must-see landmark. Yet somehow, this becomes one of the most memorable parts of the trip. Why? Because local life is the attraction. That evening, you visit a tiny neighborhood Sento, a traditional public bath. At first, it feels intimidating. There are rules, tiny stools, serious grandfathers who somehow look both relaxed and judgmental at the same time. But 20 minutes later, sitting in hot water while rain taps softly outside, you realize this is probably the most relaxed your body has felt in months. Kyoto isn't trying to entertain you non-stop. It's teaching you how to exist more slowly. Day 3 is dedicated to tea. Not just drinking tea, understanding it. In Yuji, just south of Kyoto, tea isn't a trend. It's history, craftsmanship, identity. You walk through rows of green tea fields so perfectly arranged they almost look fake. Inside a small tea shop, the owner explains the difference between matcha, sencha, and jokuro with the seriousness of a sommelier discussing fine wine. And honestly, you start tasting the differences too. One is grassy, one feels buttery, one tastes almost ocean-like. Before this trip, tea was just tea. Now it feels like an entire language. Back in Kyoto that evening, lanterns glow softly in Gion. And yes, you might spot a geisha quickly moving between appointments. But the real magic isn't chasing photos. It's hearing shamisen music drifting through a side street while restaurant curtains sway in the night breeze. Kyoto reveals itself quietly. The less aggressively you search for authenticity, the more naturally it appears. Day 4 becomes your reset day. No temples, no plans. And weirdly, this becomes one of the best decisions of the trip. You start recognizing familiar faces at the local bakery. The cashier smiles because now you're the person who always buys melon pan. You spend 2 hours in a bookstore cafe reading while jazz music plays softly overhead. This is the moment Kyoto stops feeling like a destination and starts feeling temporary home-like. That's the hidden superpower of slow travel. You stop consuming places. You begin participating in them. Day 5 begins at Fushimi Inari Shrine. But here's the trick almost nobody tells you. Go early. Extremely early. Before the crowds arrive. The endless red torii gates feel surreal, like walking through a dream designed by someone obsessed with symmetry. As you hike higher into the mountain, the city noise fades away. You hear birds, wind, your own footsteps, and somewhere around gate number who even knows anymore, you realize something important. The best moments in Kyoto often happen between the famous spots. The quiet climb, the unexpected shrine hidden in the woods, the tiny ramen shop afterward where there's no English menu and somehow it becomes the best meal of the trip. By day 6, your rhythm changes completely. Wake up slowly. Visit one meaningful place. Eat well. Walk aimlessly. Repeat. You rent a bicycle and cruise through quieter residential neighborhoods where laundry flaps from balconies and old men water tiny gardens with impossible levels of dedication. This is Kyoto beyond postcards. And honestly, it might be the version you remember most. Tourist Kyoto is beautiful. Ordinary Kyoto is unforgettable. That evening, dinner is kaiseki, Kyoto's traditional multi-course meal. Tiny dishes arrive one after another like edible artwork. Seasonal vegetables. Delicate sashimi. Soup so balanced it feels mathematical. And somehow the meal teaches the same lesson the city has been teaching all week. Pay attention. Because beauty often lives in small details. Day 7 arrives too quickly. Your final morning is quiet. You return to your favorite cafe one last time. The owner nods in recognition before you even order. And suddenly, you understand something strange about travel. The goal isn't always to see more. Sometimes it's to feel more connected, even briefly, to another way of living. Kyoto isn't a city that screams for attention. It whispers. And if you slow down enough, you actually hear it. So if you ever visit Japan, maybe don't try to conquer Kyoto in 48 hours. Pick a neighborhood, walk slowly, visit the same cafe twice. Leave room for silence. Because the real magic of Kyoto isn't hidden. It's simply missed by people moving too fast. And honestly, maybe that applies to more than just travel. If you enjoyed this journey through Kyoto, hit like, subscribe, and share your dream Japan destination in the comments below. And if you want more immersive slow travel stories, hidden local experiences, and cinematic adventures from around the world, check out the next video.